Hello everybody and welcome to the Whiskey Dictionary, where I do the research to try to teach you a little something about what you're drinking. Today I'm going to be starting a brand new series on this channel called Booker's Batches. Now Booker's Batches is me going out and finding the newest batch of Booker's, basically. Now, why would I do this with a bourbon, right? You got to think, multiple batches a year. It's not going to be that different, but Booker's is notorious for having different flavor profiles. So it seemed like kind of a fun idea to just test them all, basically. Real hard sell getting me to drink some more bourbon, but there's 4 batches a year, and it doesn't seem out of the question to try them all. So these videos are going to be a little bit more sporadic, as the release of the batches are sporadic. But my goal is to get this as soon as I possibly can and do a review for you. So this is the first batch of 2017, and it's called Tommy's batch. Now, who is Tommy? Well, Tommy is Tommy Kroom, who's a man who ended up working alongside Booker as a distiller. And he learned a lot from Booker. And in fact, they became really, really good friends, so much so that Booker's son, Fred, kind of thought of him as another brother. So he ended up working for the company for about 30 years, and he finally retired last year in 2016. Actually, towards the end of the year, I think it was December. And so it made a lot of sense for the first batch of 2017 to be called Tommy's batch. And that's exactly what happened. So let's go right into the nosing and the tasting, as these Booker's batches are going to be fairly quick episodes. So let's go right into the nosing here. Now, if you've had Booker's before, you know that this stuff is pretty high test, right? So this is 128.5 proof. So if you go to nose this, don't inhale deeply or it's gonna burn. All right, so I took some notes about this earlier, but generally the biggest thing that you'll get coming off, even no matter whether you've thought about it or right off the bat, is your typical vanilla. But you've also got some kind of like oats. Like if you really think of think about just opening a package of oats. You know how there'll be like a little bit of dust that comes up. It smells very similar to that. There's also a bit of nuttiness in there, but that's very low. That may even be just in my mind, but I don't know. I think that's probably a little nuttiness. So, all right. Let's go right into the tasting. Now, as I said, this is pretty high proof, so small sips are encouraged. And actually, if you wanted to put a couple drops of water in this, it will not hurt it whatsoever. It may even be a good idea. Cheers. All right, so you'll have to give me a second, that's very high proof. All right. The flavor, it's good, but it's not fantastic. So what makes this one a little bit different? You've got your pretty standard, you've got vanilla and caramel, right? But what you don't typically get is a little bit of smoke. And in this case, I'm tasting a little bit of smoke. More specifically, have you ever done like corn on the cob on the grill, right? It tastes a lot like that. You've got the corn coming because it's a bourbon, and it's got a little bit of smoky to it. So it's just like a little bit of like char. It's actually really, I take it back. This is really good. I would say that the previous Booker's I've done before this one, I liked more than this, but I still think that I would be on the verge of saying this is worth the $75 to $80 that this costs. If you are a Booker's fan, I would definitely recommend it. If this is going to be your first bottle of Booker's, I would say maybe wait until, maybe the next one will be a little bit better. I don't usually do scores or anything, so I'll pretty much just leave it at that. I would give this a solid maybe. All right, so that does it for this episode of The Whiskey Dick. So thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Cheers.